Hello YouTube, Tom itself here with some Homefront Ground Control Battle Commander on a farm. And today I'd like to talk about counter-sniping. Sniping is a typical FPS class intended for long-range combat, and Homefront is no different. I wouldn't go so far as to say that sniping is easy in Homefront, but rather it's easy to set yourself up like a sniper. That is, especially in ground control with a very fixed spawns and with lots of people around, it's easy to tell which side of the map belongs to which team and then to get on the back of your side and look at where they're coming from. Also, it means those are really long lines of sight and you can stay still with a ghillie suit, and it'll be very hard for someone to see a sniper sitting back in their own spawn. So setting yourself up as a sniper is pretty easy in this game. Actually being effective, well, that varies a little bit more on how good you are. But I'm not sniping in this game. Instead, what I'm trying to do is counter-snipe. Now, that's a very general term here, but I've noticed that on that side, teams really like to get a lot of snipers up on top of the bridge and back in the rocks, and I'm trying to prevent that. In some games, it's easy enough to get back into the enemy spawn or back where the snipers want to sit, that you can just get close with a submachine gun, flank around, and get in there and keep them from sniping. This 32-player ground control battle commander is pretty far on the other side of that, because if you get back there and start racking up kills, you're going to get stars, and the enemies are going to be alerted to where you are, and then when you do finally die, you're going to have to work your way all the way back from your spawn into their spawn where the snipers like to be, and you're going to have a hard time really keeping the snipers suppressed. So, while an option in some games, it's really not a good one here. So instead, I'm essentially trying to beat the snipers at their own game. That is, I'm looking for still targets back in their spawn, trying to get up on top of that bridge or get into buildings or hide behind rocks, because I want those snipers to have to deal with me before they go after my teammates. I'd have to say that the most important part of this class is the thermal goggles, because you're trying to kill snipers who are standing still and back in their spawn at long distance, and without the thermal goggles it's going to be really hard to find the snipers. Next, the choice of weapon. Sniper rifles can work. My preference is for the longer range assault rifles. This is the M16, the semi-auto, the Scar L, the 3-round burst can work too, and if you burst fire the full auto weapons, I think the M4 and the ACR work out pretty well too. I haven't tried the light machine guns, but they're probably worth a shot. In the end, the important thing is to have steady aim on. Steady aim is the infantry ability that reduces recoil while aiming down sights, and obviously that's really important when trying to put multiple shots on small targets at this kind of range. So that leads me to the next important part of this class, and that is the Acog scope. While the hollow and red dot sights are okay, at this kind of range, the increased zoom and the nice thin crosshairs that the Acog gives really help. This is the Mark II. I think I might want to try the Mark III out, but really it's personal preference. Finally, is some more optional infantry abilities. My preferences have been tactical reload and quick draw. Tactical reload just so I don't have to spend as much time taking cover and not being able to see what's going on, and quick draw so that when I do see the sniper stick his head around the corner, I can go ahead and zoom in and start taking shots as fast as possible. So, as I'm sure you've noticed, I'm having a really hard time landing enough shots on moving targets to kill them, and that's just the advantage an actual sniper would have, I'd say, because if I find a sniper who's sitting still, I shouldn't have that kind of problem. I'm landing a couple shots normally, it's just getting the 3 or 4 that I need to kill at this range isn't happening. And again, that's just the advantage an actual sniper has over this counter-sniping class. Now, as far as the battle commander threat level goes, while several enemies are alerted to me, they're going to have a hard time getting all the way over here, and if they want to stop and try to snipe me, well, that's what I'd like them to do. So the extra threat level really isn't a concern for me. In fact, I kind of appreciate it. It's giving me more ammo. As you can see, I'm being very liberal with my ammo, in fact probably wasting a fair amount of it, so the resupplies from the extra stars, instead of having to pay for it, is really appreciated. You've probably also noticed by this point this is definitely a support role, and I am not exactly playing the objective directly, as is evidenced by the fact that we gave you a triple cap here for a minute even though we're about to win the round. Well, now, we won the first round, and I am only 2 kills away from 5 stars. If I wasn't, I would probably just pull the pin on a grenade and hold it next to my chest and respawn closer to the new points. I know the people out there who obsess about their KDs would never even dream of doing something like that, but I'm here to win and play effectively for my team, and being this far away from the points really doesn't help them too much. This changeover between rounds and ground control is pretty important, and hopefully going to get into it in another video. But anyway, back to my counter-sniping. Coming up here, I make a pretty bad mistake. I know this is coming, I know I'm about to run out into the open, and I stop for a minute and realize, I don't have any cover and I need to get out of here. So I keep running forward. I see a rock. I think I might be able to use it as cover. Not really. I see at least two guys up there, and then another one, and oh, so close, and Humvee, or is that an APC, comes along, and I think he saved my life there. So I want to get back up to the new points with the rest of my team, get in a similar position to where I was for the last round, kind of between 2 points and back just a little bit, and work on counter-sniping some more. The thing is that I want to focus further down range than I really can allow myself to at this point. I'm using the hill as cover, and that means that I can't see anything about what's going on, and I have to really stick my head out there. And you see enemies coming around the left, and I really can't get the kind of line of sight I want to get into my counter-sniping position. Nice job with the Humvee there. And then I go and be an idiot and forget that I have EMP grenades on this class, and, well, I finally get what I deserved from an airstrike there. But that will take me on to my next topic in counter-sniping: vehicles or drones. In the case of Homefront, Humvees can be fast enough, and helicopters can just fly right behind enemy lines and start shooting at the snipers who are stationary. The real problem is finding out where they are, because if they're not moving, it's kind of hard to see where people are all the way from up in the air. So for this reason, it's probably pretty helpful if you could have a teammate hop into a parrot drone and start marking enemies while you were up in the air. And that would apply to really any of the air support you would expect to kill people with. The big heavy attack chopper, the light scout chopper, the tank, the APC, and even the buzzard drone. The buzzard drone is probably pretty good against snipers, since you can really target the missiles right where you need to. You can probably kill them in only one shot, though that's something I should probably test, isn't it? So I should admit that I'm not a really good helicopter pilot, but these guys really didn't seem to like me up here, and I'm pretty sure there is one, if not two, Rhino drones on the ground trying to shoot me down. Well, I'm kind of trying to weave around and deploy countermeasures as I can. Don't do a very good job of it, and I really should have left this chopper when I realized it was going to go down, because you can see the missiles coming right at me, and you know it's over. So I don't entirely understand why I thought this was a good idea at the time. They did have some luck sniping at us as we were charging forward to the new points in the transition between rounds. So I decided to pick up my sniper rifle, head to point C in the church, and see what I can't do. Now, I don't have thermal goggles on this class, so picking out the snipers, if they're just sitting out there waiting, is going to be a little bit harder for me. But as you'll see here, sniping really isn't the issue. It's that I find I have to switch to my secondary as they're getting into the church with us. While I'm okay with this pistol, it's not the kind of gun I would really want to rely on. If I'm not mistaken, it's 4 shots to the chest or 2 headshots, and this is where that M16 probably has an advantage, is that I like to hip fire that. It's a pretty tight hip spread, so that works, and if I do shoulder it, I think it's a 2-shot kill to the chest even, so it would be an advantage to have my counter-sniping class at that point too. So the endgame chat got rather amusing near the end of this game. I mean, as the game goes on, everybody gets more and more battle points accumulated, and then the vehicles really start to come out, and things get crazy, and a little communication can go a long way. But sometimes it doesn't really clarify what's going on. In fact, sometimes it makes you go, huh?
Tiptoe through the tulips.
Wait, a what? Is my friend Jayhawker singing Tiptoe Through the Tulips while playing a war simulator? Something's got to be going on here. I mean, what kind of sick person could possibly be possessed by some crazy thought, oh, he's got a tank? You can see by the kill ticker. Well, there you go. Oh, I get it. Irony. Not exactly tulips, or especially not tiptoeing, but hey, it sounds like fun. and the chat gets rather amusing near the end of this game as well, so I'm going to go ahead and let you listen to that. But it really makes me want to play with more friends in this because it's a lot of fun, and the kind of communication that really comes into play is quite interesting, and I really enjoy it. So here you go.
First try, I used the tank gun to take out the buzzard.
Oh, that is nice.
Hence my elation. They have an Apache up though.
Working on it.
Bit harder to hit.
I got my proxy rockets out if I can get in range for it.
I solved it.
Oh.
Very good.
So I talked about counter-sniping a lot this game, but I have to admit that the one guy who did the best on the enemy team was sniping. And I feel kind of bad about that for my team. I think he got 15 whole kills, and I think he was off on the other side of the map up in a building where I couldn't quite see him for most of it. Honestly, I don't watch the kill feed too closely during the game, and none of my teammates who were in the party with me, I think there were only 3 of us here though, called him out as a problem. I guess getting only 15 kills in the game really wouldn't qualify as much of a problem, but still, I feel bad about it, and if I'd known about that sooner, I probably would have gone looking for him. So that will be game there, 2 rounds to 1. I think I personally went 27-4 with 6 assists. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.